Good Monday evening, everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Safety Stop. JoJo, it looked like you had a little jig going on there.
Just a little bit. And you have a little bottle in front of your camera.
I do.
Yes, you do.
I do. I got batteries. I got bottles. I got dive logs. I've got passports. Wonder what I could be getting ready for.
It looks like you're getting ready to get into trouble.
Now, me get in trouble? No. I never get in trouble.
Oh. I got a feeling it's somewhere nice and warm and fun.
Well, you know, and so that's the reason we're going to talk dive travel tonight. Because there's a lot of things, you know, it's not just as simple as, you know, booking a trip and going. You know, there's a lot of preparation that needs to be made to make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible.
Oh, yeah. It takes a lot of time just to get a simple weekend trip together sometimes.
Oh, yeah. And especially when you're doing out of the country or, you know, something multiple days, you know, not only do you have to have the necessities, packing, you know, your clothes, your toiletries, all that stuff, you got to make sure your gear's ready to go.
Gear is very important.
There is nothing worse than getting out on a dive boat, ready, you know, seeing that crystal clear turquoise water, and you go to turn on your regulator and it's free flowing or it's not working. That's not the time That's not the time to have an equipment malfunction.
It sucks. It happens to everybody too. It's a bad part.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, you know, I've actually had, I think, I don't remember if you was there or not, but several years ago, I actually had a double computer failure first dive on the trip.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually extra batteries because I know a battery's going to die somewhere.
Oh yeah.
An extra drop box just to put on the boat to have that stuff.
Yep. Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, you know, it's always good to have, you know, your save-a-dive kit, but when you're going to be out of your normal element or diving somewhere that you don't have quick access to parts and tools and stuff, you gotta kind of pre-plan for that. So, you know, that's excuse me. So that's kind of what I've been doing over the last couple of days. Didn't really get to touch my gear Saturday or Sunday, but yeah. So trying to get all this stuff gathered up, ready to go. I see Jeff Hoyer's in here. Good evening, sir. Mr. Mike Schutz. He's cleaning his regulator now.
Did he get too much quarry water in it?
I don't know, but well, he's probably having to get the cobwebs and the dust out of it because he never dives his back mount anymore. He always dives a side mount. So
that's true. I'd be doing the same thing.
So hopefully, when we get down there, he won't be, you know, trying to switch from his octo to his primary to his octo, thinking he's side mount diving.
I'm surprised he's just not taking his side mount harness and strapping one tank to it.
Well, really? You know, we had talked about that, and you know, maybe next year. Of course, the 2024 trip is going to be 2 weeks. 1 week at Turquoise, 1 week at Cocoa View, and the Cocoa View is unlimited shore diving. So that's where side mount will really come in handy because grab you a couple tanks, you can make a hour and a half, 2 hour dive and, you know, be good to go.
Yeah. I would absolutely love to do that. 2.5 hours on the bottom. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah. But of course, you know, if you're traveling out of the country, you know, the first thing you got to make sure is that you have the passport.
Yep.
Now,
gotta have paperwork.
Gotta have the paperwork. And trust me, nowadays the airlines let you know it. Like, hey, you got to put your passport information in.
Yeah. And you got at least for Roatan, it's at least 6 months.
At least 6 months.
Can't expire next week.
Exactly. We had a diver that actually found that out the hard way several years ago, going to
He did.
Roatan.
I felt so bad for him. It's like, really? He's got a month on it. Come on.
Well, I think it was actually 2 months,
2 months?
and we
Yeah,
were
I
going to be
mean, it
gone
was,
for a week.
yeah, it was like, we'll be back. It's no big deal. They wanted 6 months. It's like, oh, I have to remember that.
Oh yeah. So very important if you're going to be traveling, especially out of the country. Make sure you've got at least 6 months before the expiration of your passport. If you don't, I'm telling you, I've seen it firsthand. They will stop you at the check-in counter wherever you're departing from, and they will turn you around and say you can't go.
Literally, you will be standing and watching the plane fly away because they're going to leave you right there at the gate.
That they will. Well, you won't even make it to the gate. You won't even make it through. Huh?
He made it all the way. Didn't he make it all the way to L.A. or Georgia?
No, he didn't make it out of Nashville.
No. Yeah, that's right. So I flew out of Nashville with y'all.
Yep. Yep. Went to check in at the front counter. They noticed that he had 2 months left on his passport, and they said that he couldn't board. So make sure your passports are within date. Some places are 6 months, like Roatan. Some places only require like 3 months, but you need to check the destination to see what they require. But
Yeah.
of course, in part of my preparation, I was talking to JoJo about this a while ago. I have my ancient logbook, and I say ancient because, well, I've had this thing for several years. And JoJo, what was that I showed you earlier? This is pretty cool.
That you're a dinosaur.
I'm a dinosaur. Oh yeah. I don't know if you can see it very well, but that is my temporary open water card. Now I'm not going to tell you the dates on it, but I'll just tell you it's been around for 30 plus years. And it's still in good condition too.
Yeah. So you got your passports. Make sure you got that C card. The C cards that you need. And not just on your phone. Have them in your files. Have a physical copy. You don't want to drop your phone at the airport and it break and now you don't have your C card.
Exactly. And of course, my favorite C card I love to show, especially if it's somewhere I've never traveled to, is that one right there.
Water die. Yes, that one's a good one.
My junior open water. Now, Jeff, I'm not a dinosaur.
Oh.
I'm not going to tell you when that one was printed either. I will show you this though. There's the picture. I don't know if you can tell if it resembles me or not. But oh yeah.
Think when you find an old shirt like that and dress you up, take a picture, put it side by side.
Oh yeah. Shoot, yeah. Let's do it.
Oh.
Yeah, of course, I could always show them this one too. If I didn't want to be, make them think that I was still a junior open water, I could always show them my advanced open water diver card.
It's a little newer.
It is. It actually, the picture, well, you say it's newer. The lamination is coming off. But yeah, so as you can tell, I keep all of my dive related documents right here in my dive log. And this is really old because that's our original logo from years ago. A little palm tree with the sun behind it. But what's even more interesting, and I told you about this, JoJo, was the very first trip that I took out of the country was back in 2003. So we had travel documents. A nice little safe place to keep all your little travel documents. Of course, back then, like to travel to Cozumel, you didn't need a passport. You do now, but back then you didn't need one. I think Canada and Mexico U.S. citizens was not required for a passport. You just had to have a copy of.
Yeah, well, you can do it on the cruises, or you have a driver's license and a birth certificate.
Yes.
You can get on the cruise ship. I don't think you can get on the plane that way anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well, the only thing that I had to have when I first went to Cozumel was this little piece of paper right here. That is my birth certificate. That is all I had to have to go to Cozumel. Not going to get it this day and age, so. So yeah, I mean, just going through, just double checking everything, making sure I had all of my C cards and all of my dive related documents get together. I was going through this dive log, and it's taking me back by memory lane. Now, I don't know if you guys remember when you went through your certification classes, and the part about logbooks is you're not going to remember every dive that you did, especially if you've done, as many as me and JoJo have. So a logbook is very important. I came across when we first dove the Oriskany, right after they sunk it. I remember diving it, but I don't remember any of the details. So I was able to look and see what I had logged. So makes an excellent memory jogger to, oh yeah, I remember doing that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can get on my old MySpace account and find a bunch of my old pictures and stuff.
MySpace! Oh. Looks like we have somebody else join us, Mr. Carl Linder. Good evening, sir. I haven't seen Mr. Carl in a while. Hope him and the missus is doing good. But yeah, I mean, getting ready to travel for scuba, especially a week-long trip. Again, you got to make sure you've got everything in order, because the last thing you want is something not to go right.
Yeah, and in your planning, you got to make sure that you got those documents, and there's more you'll find on like the government websites for entries. All the COVID crap we had to fill out. Jeez, I don't think they do it anymore.
Well, luckily, because I was just doing my my entry stuff for Honduras today, actually, and it's their website. When you finish doing your online check-in immigration stuff, it still takes you to the Ministry of Health or whatnot for the COVID-19 stuff. So I'm like, wait a minute, I thought they dropped all this. So apparently it's still linked, but it's not required, according to all the information that I researched today. Because when I seen that, I'm like, uh-oh, do I go get a test again? Surely not. And as of March of this year, they had dropped all the requirements for that. So luckily, I don't have to go get my brain probed with a Q-tip tomorrow or Wednesday.
I had it done twice just to make sure I had results the next day so I can go.
Oh, yeah. I have done that too. Well, and when they were doing that, they didn't give you enough time.
Oh, it was like, I'll have this back to you in like 3 days. I was like, I leave tomorrow.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, it's just wild. Jeff says, I feel old, MySpace. Is that even around anymore?
You can still get on there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know. I've done forgot my login stuff for MySpace. It's been too many years, so.
I've been 5 or 6 years since I've tried it, but I guarantee you probably still get on there.
Yeah, but
there's still so many using it.
Yeah, so hopefully, if everything goes well, next week we're kind of doing I guess you could call it a multinational show, because we'll be broadcasting from Roatan, linking with you back here in the States to do the show.
Will we have enough bandwidth for that? That's a lot of bouncing.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the internet connection, because we tested it when we were both together in Roatan, and it worked. So I don't know. We're going to see how it's going to work. I may have to remote in to here in the home studio to control everything just to make sure it does work. Oh. Looks like Miss Emily and Mr. Chad has joined us. Good evening to you guys. Hey, Chad, I found shaky cheese. No, what's really funny is we had spaghetti for dinner, and that's the reason my Parmesan's in here. Uh, is when Krista brought it to me, she's like, here's your shaky cheese. And I'm like, did you just use a Chadism? Yeah, they
Uh,
spent too much time together in Georgia. I think Chad rubbed off
yeah,
on her.
pants and everything.
Yeah. uh, yeah, exactly. Hey, you didn't have. Was you? No, you haven't seen Krista since they come back.
I have not. No.
Okay, so just ask her next time about the Bucky story.
The only
That's
time I seen her was on the show last weekend, so I'll
that
have to get
is
with her on the.
yeah, that is all I'm gonna say. It is a hilarious story. Emily has done posted a laughing emoji. Ask her about the Bucky story. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's a good thing about our trips. They always end up freaking rolling all over the place.
We always have a blast. I mean, whether it's to the aquarium or over down to Roatan, whatnot, everybody seems to have a blast. Even Roatan. I mean, we get a lot of return divers goes back with us. So
Cool.
you
Best
know,
reef I've ever been on.
oh yeah. I mean, it's a fun trip. I mean, as long as everything goes right.
Well, things have not always went right. I still had a good time. A
Yeah.
lot better than the Keys went when we didn't get to go diving.
Well, that was something that we could not help. It was a last minute switch. If you guys
Sure.
don't know, in 2020 we had everything booked for Roatan in September, or I'm sorry, October. And what was it like 3 weeks before the trip? Everything was a
Yeah.
go, and then the
Yep.
airline said, "Nope, we're not flying."
It's closed everything down.
Yeah. Oh no, they had my ticket going from Nashville to Houston, staying a week in Houston and coming back to Nashville. I'm like, I don't want to go visit in Houston. It's a stepping stone. I just want to go on to the island.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, I just seen what Emily posted there. So once you hear the story, you will understand completely.
Thing is, we got an airplane. We couldn't leave the states because we did get an airplane tickets to the Keys.
We did, yeah. We were able to fly to the Keys, and that was a fun trip, even though there was a lot of improvising going on.
Oh, so we
Oh
did go
yeah,
to a rock quarry in the
yeah,
Keys.
yeah. It's bad when you're wanting to dive and nobody's going out. You find a rock quarry in the ocean to go dive. Yeah. Oh, but yeah. So I mean, if you're planning on traveling, taking a dive trip, make sure you've got everything. Gear serviced, ready to rock and roll. Make sure you've got all of your documents, logbook, sea cards, passport if you're going out of the country. Can't stress how much, all it takes is for one little thing and you don't get on the plane.
Yeah.
And I really felt bad for the diver that didn't get to join us. But if you're going to a place that is, that they're really customer oriented, like Turquoise Bay, they honored his reservation for a later date.
They did do that. That was very
So
nice. Very
even
nice
though
of them to do.
yes, even though he didn't get to travel with us on the trip, they ended up letting him reschedule and come down. And I think him and his wife went actually. And once he got his passport renewed and was able to get it booked.
Yeah.
I don't know too many places that would do that.
I mean, they were. Normally, they'd say, "Not our fault. Your plane didn't take you down here."
Oh yeah. Oop! I lost another light.
Oh, lost it. Now he's in the dark, like always.
I am in the dark. Oh yes, I am literally in the dark. All right. Let's see if I can shed a little bit of light. I forgot to charge my batteries last week. So, all right, we're going to do this by candlelight. We're going to do it like the 1980s.
Well, it's in October. It's about candlelight season.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping that the batteries would last me, but again, my fault. I didn't charge them. I was too preoccupied trying to get everything ready for this trip. So, but yeah. So for our viewers watching tonight, if you guys have an upcoming trip, it doesn't matter if it's in the next couple weeks, next couple months, next year. Throw it up. Let us know where you're going. We're interested in seeing where everybody's diving at, what kind of big trips and stuff you've got planned. Been on several of these trips. If you're needing tips and tricks, that's what we're here for. So tonight's topic is dive travels. If you haven't been able to tell,
We talk about how to get your luggage from one spot to another. I see that on threads all the time. How do you pack your gear?
Oh yeah,
$3,000 worth of gear, and how do you get it to your location in one piece?
well, and I remember
on your luggage.
And I remember it's been probably 10, 12 years ago. There was a neat little piece of dive luggage that I wished it would have stuck around, but the dive caddy.
I remember you hit your dive caddy.
I mean, this thing was awesome. You could cinch it down. You could pack your BC. You could pack your regulator. You could pack your fins, your mask, snorkel, exposure suit, and about 3 days worth of clothes. And it would cinch down small enough you could put it as a carry-on. That was awesome.
Yeah, I typically carry my main gear onto the plane. So I don't want somebody throwing my stuff in the bottom of the plane.
I can't say I blame you there. Of course, it's easier to throw clothes, on the bottom of a plane, but of course, then you get there, and if they lost your luggage, then you just got dive gear. So you're going to either be in the same clothes or
I figure it's cheaper to buy new clothes than it is to rent a bunch of dive gear for a week.
Well, that's true. But, one thing we haven't talked about, especially dive travel, if you're traveling out of the country, dive insurance or trip insurance.
Not about that. Yeah, that's something you really got to consider.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you look at it when you book an airline ticket, they offer you an insurance. So if something happens, you don't get to go, you can file a claim and, hopefully get your money back. But dive travel insurance goes beyond that. It doesn't only cover the dive. It covers getting to the destination, getting home, if you lose your luggage, if you're sick, if you're dive 2 or 3 days and then you get food poisoning, or if you're like JoJo, not so happy belly about halfway through the trip.
Yeah.
And you miss diving, you can file a claim and actually be able to, get reimbursed a little bit. Jeff says, what about Dane insurance? So that's something you have to look at. Your Dane insurance, Dan does have trip insurance. So, but they also have just the Dan insurance, which covers like if you need to be flown out to a chamber, covers chamber stuff like that. But Dan does offer or trip insurance, and that's something. If I'm not mistaken, JoJo, I believe you. It's not. It doesn't. How am I trying to put this? It's
Travel insurance does not cover the medical part of things.
well, it depends. Depends on what plan you get.
I don't know. I
So,
figured the Dan insurance to get the deco chamber was kind of needed.
well, like Dan offers the trip insurance, which isn't like you don't pay for a year and it covers you for a year. It's like trip specific. So you'll spend $100, $200, whatnot on the trip insurance, and it's in date or it's valid just for the dates of travel. So from the moment you leave your house to the moment you get back home, your trip insurance will cover. Now, I'm not that familiar because I've never taken out trip insurance with Dan, but I have with DiveAssure. And of course, DiveAssure has like 6 different plans. Actually, it's 3 different plans. And for medical, like you was saying, the options are you can get trip insurance to where DiveAssure pays for everything, and what they don't pay for, it falls back on your insurance, or you can get it to where what your insurance doesn't cover, they will pick up and pay the rest of it. So, of course, there is a price difference. If they pay for everything, your premium's a little bit more expensive. You can save a little bit, especially on the medical end of it. If you want your insurance billed, then you can save a few dollars that way and let your insurance settle it out, and what they don't pay, DiveAssure does. So I do know that. Used to, DiveAssure just had three different plans. They had one that was kind of minimal coverage. They had the mid of the road, covered a little bit more, and then their top tier, which covered pretty much everything. And I've seen it, priced $150 to $300, depending on what tier you took.
Yep. So Dan, of course, dive, safe dive, or whatever. Good choices.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, as far as trip insurance, especially if it's a bucket list trip, if you're going overseas, Australia. I know a couple. Matter of fact, just last year, that had a Red Seas trip planned, and one of them ended up having a detached retina before the trip. They had to cancel it. Well, luckily they had trip insurance, so after providing all the information and everything, they did finally get reimbursed for what they were out, or mostly. I think there were a couple things they said they didn't get back, but they booked through a travel agent, so I'm sure they didn't get the travel agent fee back, and but they said they did get a majority of it. Jeff says they have annual insurance on the site. Do what, Joe?
So a lot of those travel agents can help you get a lot of that money back too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You know how to work this.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Emily says, my understanding, Dan, if I get hurt 50 miles away from home, if I'm going on a trip, then you add Dan trip. Let's see. It says see more. Dan trip kind. Yeah. So really, I mean, the difference between the Dan insurance, which you pay for a year, covers the need for a hyperbaric chamber, medical evacuation, stuff like that. But more specifically, you want to look at the trip insurance. So, Jeff, if they have an annual trip thing on their website, I haven't looked at it recently. Last I knew that they didn't have a year long. It was trip specific, just like DiveAssure and what was it, Safe Dive and a couple of others.
Yep. Let's see. What else?
So now that we've got our documents and we've got our trip insurance and we're itching with anticipation, ready to go because we're ready for sunsets on the beach and awesome coral dives and shark encounters. The hard part, waiting.
Oh yeah, the anticipation is crazy.
Oh yeah, I know, and it's funny. I see Mr. Frank just joined us or just popped in there. Good evening to you. I get tickled every time I see Frank because he's going on the Roatan trip with us, and I mean he is all kinds of giddy about it. I mean, he gets me excited just seeing his excitement.
In 48 hours, bags are already in the vehicle, and you're getting up at 2 a.m. ready to get on the flight. It doesn't leave for another 8 hours.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, trust me, I'm the world's worst when it's like, oh, I've got to leave on time. I got to make sure I give myself enough time. I leave the house at 1:00. I sit in the airport for an hour and a half to almost 2 hours waiting for the counter to open.
Yeah, for the counter. The airport hasn't even
open. Yeah, the only thing they've opened is the front door. That's the only thing they've opened.
They ever lock that?
I don't know. Oh, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that you just have so much anticipation, and for me, it's seeing some of these divers that we're taking on these trips. Some of them it's their first time in the ocean, or they've never been to like Roatan, they've never been to that destination. And of course, we've got some really good friends at the dive operation down there. And, whenever we go down there, we want for nothing. They are there 100% behind us to make sure that it is an awesome trip. I mean, honestly think things could just, blow up and just be 7 kinds of bad, and they'll still make it fun.
Yes. I mean, Oz, he goes, they all do, but Oz, man, he will make every freaking dive something special, and he's done them a million times.
Oh yeah, and that's the one good thing about going on trips like this, and going with familiar dive masters, because they know the lay of the land, just like we know the quarry like the back of our hand. They know where to find the seahorses. They know where to find the frogfish. They know where to find
crab.
Huh?
Octopus eating crab.
I don't think that one was expected, JoJo. And
it was still cool.
In my defense, I didn't get to see it.
Oh.
I got a little mad on that one.
Well, I was mad after I accidentally deleted all my videos. So.
Oh, that's another thing. Make sure you take extra SD cards for your cameras.
Oh yeah, there's nothing worse than saying reformat on your camera.
Well, and that's where I really like shooting with the Sea Life case, because I'm going to have my phone with me, and I can throw it in the case. I can sit there. I don't have to worry about downloading anything. All I've got to do is make sure I connect it to the cloud when we get back to internet connection, and everything's backed up. I learned that lesson the hard way about 4 years ago when I took my laptop and my external hard drive, and I downloaded my pictures and ended up dropping the external hard drive on the floor. And yeah, that was an expensive fix.
Yeah. Last time I downloaded everything from the camera to the computer. I was in the editing stage. When I hit delete because I didn't like something, and it deleted everything. I didn't realize I had everything highlighted, and it was just gone. I was like, oh no! And he couldn't hit the back button or anything. It was just gone.
Like, no, come back, come
Yeah,
back.
and like, okay, I'm going to make a copy before I even send it into the software next time. I mean, it was hundreds of pictures gone.
Oh yeah.
Pretty days, lots of seahorses, just gone.
Well, luckily, like I said, was that last year's trip?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So, there was a lot of cool things we seen last year. That was the first time we got to dive the south side. Lots of different things on the south side. A lot of seahorses on the north side. We're not used to seeing those like that up there.
They were about every time we jumped in the water, they showed us some seahorses.
Well, and then if you remember the last dive of the trip last year, we had that huge eagle ray that was just kind of circling everybody.
I didn't want to come up. I mean, my tank was empty. Oh.
Yeah, I know. Which I wasn't able to get a good picture of it, but I did get some video of it. And of course, it was far enough away I couldn't get real good color with it, but I was able to zoom in.
Looked down, I was getting on the boat, and there it was, just right underneath of us. I was like, this sucks.
Where's my side mount? Where's my side mount? But yeah, looks like Mr. Jake Taylor's joined us. Good evening. I understand, Jake. All it takes is just signing up and going. Of course, this trip's already closed, but there's always next year. And next year, of course, Roatan is someplace that we go every season. It's our end of year staff trip, and it's designed to let our staff be able to go and enjoy diving, the ones who are able to, and kind of get a week off and enjoy being pampered like we do our divers. And so next year we're celebrating our 30th by spending 2 weeks down there. And
you're spending 2.
Well, it's going to be 2 weeks, whether you do week 1 or week 2 or do both of them. But really, the one I'm really looking forward to. I look forward to Turquoise every year. Love the guys down there. They're like our extended scuba family down there. They're our Roatan scuba family is what they are. But I'm really excited. Huh?
Got many of them on my Facebook.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I'm really looking forward to the unlimited shore diving at Cocoa View though. That's one thing. If Turquoise had unlimited shore diving, that would make it ultimate. But unfortunately, they don't.
No, their lagoon is a little hard to see through.
Yeah. Frank says, I'm so fired up, I can't wait. So I know he's itching with anticipation. Of course, Frank's one of the ones who haven't been there with us before. We've got 3 or 4 that haven't, but everybody else is, they're return divers coming back for another year of, having a blast. So now that my gear is packed and my luggage we're going to say packed because it's not quite done yet, but we're going to say that it's packed. Make sure you got all the documents, everything. You're ready to arrive at the airport because when you get to the airport, you shouldn't have to worry about anything until you get back and okay, where's my car keys?
Very important to know where those are when you get off the plane. Don't leave them where you in another country.
Yeah, be a little hard to get those back in a timely fashion.
Make sure you have a good battery in your car and it can sit there for a week. That means start.
I think you had an issue with that last year, didn't you?
I did. I got a new battery shortly after.
Let's see. Emily says I need a gnarly pick to make my skin for my Magic Keyboard iPad. Well, I'm pretty sure we can probably find some pretty cool pictures. I'm hoping to get some down there while I'm there this time. She also says she has dibs on next year, so. Trish says I'm packed, or I packed my dive gear today, even washed my wetsuit. Nothing like a clean wetsuit.
Wash the wetsuit. Water form. I don't need a wetsuit.
Yeah. I think last year it was like 86.
Something for there.
Yeah. Still gonna miss JoJo though. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna be thinking about JoJo while we're down there. I'm sure that the question that I'll be asked multiple times, which I'm already getting it, they're asking, was Mr. Dennis coming? Is Mr. Dennis coming? No, unfortunately he's not. But the next question I'll be asked, where's JoJo? Where's JoJo? I'm going to point to Mike and say, he lost a lot of weight. Here he is.
No, I did a family vacation this year, and so I wasn't able to make it. Wish I could.
Yeah, understand that for sure. But you've been to Roatan with us what 3 times now, 2 or 3,
something like that.
As a testament, you can tell. I mean, the first year you went, we stayed in the mansion.
Oh, the mansion was great.
Oh.
Chris will show you this place when y'all are on the boat. The place is gorgeous.
Yeah. And the only reason we got to stay in the mansion was they overbooked the resort.
Yeah.
And so the resort actually put, what was there, 6 of us?
I think about 6 of us went, yeah.
Yeah. They put 6 of us up in this huge house that's kind of next door. I mean, you got to take a bus to go around to get to the resort, but they put us up in this huge mansion. There was probably, 8 rooms? Like 8 bedrooms?
Something like those 3 or 4 upstairs, couple downstairs. I had the whole basement to myself.
JoJo picked the coolest room to stay in, and he stayed in the basement.
My own TV, my own bed, my own foosball table, own bar.
Oh, but yeah, it was, that was a blast. I'll never forget that. Of course, they haven't made that same mistake since, so we've gotten to stay at the resort. But they did. They come over to the boat dock. This place had its own boat dock. They come over with the boat, picked us up in the morning, took us back for breakfast, and then we went out for diving for the day. And on the way back in from the afternoon dive, they stopped us off at the boat dock, and then they went back to the resort. And it was, 5:30, 6 o'clock? There was a bus at the front door picking us up, taking us over for dinner.
Yep.
I mean, that
we had our own hot tub we got to enjoy.
Oh, yeah. Hot tub. And it was an infinity pool. Remember that?
Yeah, we were looking over the water on our infinity pool.
Yeah, I mean, it was an awesome, awesome time. And I'm thankful that they did overbook, but I'm even more thankful that they didn't say, hey, we've overbooked. We're going to have to move your week. And I'd have been like, oh, no.
Oh, can you imagine sending half our crew to the other resort down the island?
Oh, yeah.
That would have sucked.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a good weekend. We'll see you next Saturday at the airport. Oh. But hey, like I said, make sure if you're traveling, make sure you've got everything you need. All your documents are in order. Trip insurance, can't stress that enough. Don't really matter. Look at the different insurance coverages and see what fits you best. I'm not going to endorse or make a recommendation, just ones that I've used before. Trish says, yeah, 3 crazy people won't be together this time. But you won't find the roadside taco stand again. Or was it a taco stand?
It was a barbecue joint of some sort. We just smelled it from the roadway. And like, we're eating.
This was in Bon Air, by the way, just to clarify that. That one was in Bon Air.
We won't have Trish hanging out the window going beep beep every 5 minutes and all the local.
I was talking to Mike. I don't know if he's still on here or not, but I was talking to him Saturday, and I told him, we need to rent a car while we're down there so that we can, if we want to go into town or whatnot, we can. And then I thought about it. I'm like, can you drive in Roatan? Because I'm not driving in Roatan. He's like, what? He said, yeah, it's just about as bad as Bon Air. I said, oh, no. Bon Air, I could drive.
There's just half a road missing every time you drive somewhere. And I mean, like, literally, the road's gone in chunks.
Or there's a cow in the middle of the road.
Herd of dogs.
Oh, yeah. As you can tell, we have fun when we travel, but that's what makes it fun. You're going on trips to enjoy, relax, and have a good time. And I can't say that I have ever had a bad time on a trip, even Key Largo. As
Fun.
Not as much diving as we would wanted to do, but it was still a fun trip.
We did. We got to see the museum and got to experience a lot of good things while we were down there.
Oh yeah, exactly. Sitting here trying to think. Mike said, "I'll drive."
He'll get that little four-banger up and
going. Let's see. It was goats and donkeys in Bon Air. Yeah, I don't recall seeing very many goats on Roatan. I know they've got them, but it was cows in the road.
Yeah,
because they just free range.
A lot of goats in Bon Air. Of course, that was the delicacy too.
Oh yes,
like the goat.
Oh yes, most definitely. So yeah, it's traveling's fun. If you do it with a group, if you're not doing a group, you're just traveling. You can still have a blast. You can take in more local culture. A little harder to do when you're with a group because not everybody wants to do the exact same thing, but everybody does want to dive. So that's always the plus side.
Yeah, it's a lot of good places to go. Hopefully everybody's got something on the works, planning on their, good time to plan now for next year especially, because it'll be here before you know it.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Recommendations is make sure you book your flights early. Even if you haven't booked your accommodations.
I found that if you don't book at least 6 months in advance, now you're going to pay outrageous prices for them.
Yes. That you will. I got a notification.
I think I book in April, where it's around $500. Yeah. Don't book right now.
No. I got a notification yesterday that our flight prices had went up. I'm like, I looked at it. It was like $1,300. I'm like, whew, I'm glad I caught that when I did.
So if you want to go to Roatan, get a good year on it. You'll thank yourself.
Well, and that's the thing too, especially if most of the airlines don't have their schedules more than a year in advance. So, a matter of fact, I was looking, at maybe doing Cozumel or something again, because it's been probably 10, 11 years since we've been to Cozy. And so I'm like, you know what? Southwest flies into Cozumel. Hit Southwest at Nashville, and fly in. And I got to looking, and Southwest actually only goes like 9 months ahead. 8 or 9 months. So, you can't see the full year. And I've even looked at it on United, American. You can look, and about a year is as far out as you can see that they'll give you rates.
Yeah, I mean, say it, but wait until 2 or 3 months before. You're gonna pay a heck of a lot more so you can get a further window.
Well, I booked mine in March this year. Went ahead and booked my ticket and all that, and I kept watching because I knew there were some people who hadn't, so I kept tried to keep my eye on it just so I could let people know when it got low. And the lowest I seen was the last of July, 1st of August. American Airlines was 540 round trip from Nashville to Dallas to Roatan and back. If I'd have known that, I would have booked on American. 'Cause I paid.
Yeah.
I think mine was 700.
Wow. Well, the first time I went with you, I got Delta for like 400, and I was like, "Oh, geez, this ain't too bad." Now prices are crazy.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So, all right. Well, JoJo, we've been sitting here talking about dive travel and all that. I just looked up, and we've got 3 minutes left.
Gone.
So yeah, I mean, always exciting when we talk about dive travel because people go different places. You hear about different experiences. It's fun to fun to hear and fun to share those experiences because somebody else out there may be looking at going for the first time and they pick up and listen and these little pointers and really helps.
Yeah, little pointers add up and make a heck of a difference. Like when we went to Bon Air, you know how much research I did to Bon Air?
Oh, I know. I remember the book from Amazon.
I had notes written in that book on directions on how to get to restaurants because they're in the middle of nowhere. And it was well worth it. Trish could Snacky Snacks was absolutely delicious. Follow the blue rock on the left.
Blue rock on the left.
I'm serious, that was the directions, and that's what we followed.
Yep. Let's see. Trish says I got ours on points with AA. Otherwise, would have been 400. So, oh yeah. If you have points, that's the best way. Spend them points.
Yeah. I typically find that I don't travel enough. I end up losing my points. Like, I'll try these hotel apps and stuff. I don't use them enough.
Yeah.
Plus, need to travel more.
Let's see. Jeff just posted, I sleep in dive gear just in case waterbed malfunctions. Yeah, hey, it's always good to have a backup plan.
But there's some days the service interval gets so bad, I might pull out the diving pool.
At least put your mask on just to have the feel.
Yeah, just to feel the water.
Christine would be like, what are you doing? Hey, I miss the water. I miss the water. Hold on. I got to clear my mask. Well, JoJo, you have any final thoughts for us for this evening?
Oh, traveling is awesome. I love to do it. I mean, we normally put out an invitation if you want to go to Florida with us sometime, either early winter or late winter, somewhere in there. So you all are more than welcome to join us then. Look for our posts online. I'm looking to get North Carolina back up again this year.
And it's a different operator, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and it'll be a day longer as well. So
get extra days diving in North Carolina. Sweet.
Yeah. So about the same cost, I was able to extend it a day with a new operator.
Awesome. Well, and of course, in the immediate term here, we've got with the little project you're getting ready to get started on.
Oh, I've already started.
Oh, I figured that.
Yes, the Halloween haunt will be up. Yeah, geez, what the date was it?
October 21st.
Yeah, okay. So October 21st, it will be the night dive for that. And I will have the quarry nice and decorated for everybody to enjoy.
And it's going to be a fun time. If you guys have not or not been to the Halloween Fest at the park, we always have a blast with it. JoJo does an amazing job with the haunted trail dive. He's added to it every year. I can't wait to see what kind of neat little additions he's got this year. I've already seen one, and I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but it's going to be pretty cool. So I seen a picture of it today, actually. So yeah. So October 21st, of course, we're also being joined by Ohana Dive Company and Water Dog Scuba and Safety. They will be putting on the Zombie Apocalypse Diver on the 21st and the pumpkin carving, actual pumpkin carving certification class on the 22nd. So anybody's interested in one of those two classes, contact the respective sponsor shop, either Ohana or Water Dogs. We are not taking sign-ups for that because we don't teach them, so we're letting them handle all that, and we're handling the food, which is chili and hot dogs, before the night dive, and then after the haunted trail dive, our other shop sponsor, Louisville Dive Center, is hosting a creature feature on their huge outdoor screen in the pavilion area. So you get done, bring your lawn chair, hang out, watch. I don't know what the feature movie's going to be, but I know it's going to be Halloween themed. So bring you a chair and, come hang out, spend the weekend with us.
Oh, yeah. So get that Snuggie ready. We'll have the warming container nice and hot chocolate and all that good stuff, too. So
got to have the hot chocolate and coffee.
And coffee.
All right, well, it's about 5 minutes after 9, so anyway, appreciate you guys tuning in with us each and every week that we're on. Remember, next week I will be coming to you from Roatan. JoJo will be here at home helping me moderate, so I'm going to look a little different with the resort in my background, but I'm going to let JoJo kind of run things or ask questions next week, because I'm sure we'll have, let's see, that's Monday night. We'll have 6 dives under our belt. So I'm sure I'll have lots of cool things to say about the 6 dives that we had been on by the time we get there.
I can't wait to hear the dive report. I'm already jealous. So,
well, I'll tell you what, I will give a horrible dive report and I won't show you the pictures.
You can't have a horrible dive report. You can dive in the mud, and that's a good dive report.
Oh, JoJo, it was terrible. Let me tell you, the seas were so rough. They called the dives. We couldn't get in, so we had to dive in the swimming pool.
Yeah, the water.
Oh, goodness.
We took a photo class in the pool there because we couldn't do anything else.
Exactly. All right, guys. Again, appreciate you guys tuning in with us each and every Monday night. We've been doing this since the start of the pandemic, just as a way to get together and talk scuba. Our favorite wonderful hobby and sport to do. And it's always a pleasure to for you guys to join us while we sit here and banter back and forth talking about, this, that, whatever, always talking about diving, because that's what it's all about. You've got to dive. It's fun. You may learn something. Tips and tricks for travel, equipment, whatnot. So I think that does it for me, JoJo.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Jeff says, huh?
Make sure you put your booties in your fins.
Exactly. So Jeff says, Finding Nemo. I'll look for Nemo while I'm there. I'm not going to guarantee I'll find him because I think he's in Australia, if I'm not mistaken, on Wallaby Way. Yes, I have kids, so. Anyway, all right, guys. Until next Monday night, if you guys are diving this weekend, we hope you have a wonderful, fun, and safe diving experience. If you're diving with us, I won't see you, but the guys at the park will see you, and we're always glad to see you guys. So if we don't have anything else, we'll see you guys next Monday night, right here on the Pennyroyal Divers Group. Monday Night Safety Stop.
We are the kings of